The Delta State government has set aside $100 million, approximately 138.2 billion naira, as variable gap funding to de-risk new investments in the state. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori announced this at the Delta State Economic and Investment Summit 2026 held in Asaba, the state capital. Governor Sheriff also announced that the state government has earmarked over 12,000 hectares of farmland for agricultural development for prospective investors. Now, according to him, the agro-industrialization plan of his administration provides ample opportunity for profitable private sector investment in commercial agriculture and agricultural value chain. Now, investment opportunities abound in value chain production of cassava, oil palm, rice, potato, and other cash crops. It is my pleasure to announce that in preparation for the summit, over 12,000 hectares of farmland have been marked for agricultural development for prospective investors. In addition, the entire state has a coastline of 1 to 3 kilometers suitable for development of a thriving maritime economy, he said. Now, Governor Oborevwori also assured investors of the safety of their investments, saying security has improved significantly in Delta State. Also in attendance was the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, the WTO head, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and Kenya activist and Pan-African, Dr. Lumumba, Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and other dignitaries in the business and political sector. But the big question is, what's next? Yes, after the summit, to reap the fruit, why it was organized, so that it does not end up as a gathering of where speeches were made. And honestly, can Delta State become the next industrial hub, not only in the country, but on the continent? Well, these and more will take center stage on the show today as we look at the Delta State Economic Summit 2026. That's what we'll be having as a major discourse today on the show. We're looking at Delta State Economic Summit that was held yesterday and the prospective gains that will definitely come on account of that very summit if the investors are indeed convinced and will be willing to invest in the big heart. Well, that's what we're having as a major discourse today. And to truly help us talk about this, we have no other person but political scientists and economists also of high repute. We're talking of no other person but Mr. Austin Uwuseba JP. Good day and welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, a whole lot of talk was made yesterday, and many persons will say it's important that beautiful speeches are being made, but it's also more important for it to also be transmitted, or we see the gains on the ground. So let's look at this summit. Many will say it's a bit timely, knowing that Delta State is indeed pushing not just the infrastructural drive, but also wanting it to manifest when it comes to industrialization of the state, which many will call has been a civil service state for many years. So my question, two important questions. Number one, is this really summit timely? And do you see this summit actualizing the gains why it was in the first place held?
Okay. Thank you, Michael, for having me this morning. Quick one. I would say the summit is timely.
Timely, okay.
Yes, and we must commend the Delta State government, the executive governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, for putting it together,
okay,
and releasing funds for the summit to be put together. And if you follow up the summit, the resource persons were eminently qualified to have come to present papers and talks on the summit. So it's timely.
Okay. Well, the next question is, he said he's going to put 100 million, that's 133.8 billion naira on ground for the risk factors. And many investors will look at that as, okay, well, it's more like insurance for us. If we come, it does not work, well, we'll have something to clinch on to at the end. But let's look at it. Now, two major angles he's taking. He's talking about the maritime sector, blue economy, number one, and he's also looking at the agro part of it, which Delta State has vast land and beautiful waterbeds that will definitely aid in growing agriculture in the state. But others are also saying ICT and other ventures should also be looked through. But let's look at those two major ones. Now, the maritime, and also that's the blue economy, and also that of agro. Now, do you see this as really the bedrock that will help in every way ignite that investment drive that this state is looking for? Do we have that capacity to push that through to ensure that, well, investors will come in and deal with the issue of industrialization of the state?
Michael, you see, I've been an advocate of one, the blue economy,
okay,
maritime.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying that is that Delta State have 4 seaports.
Okay.
Namely Cocoa, Sapele, Warri, and Focados.
Most certainly.
Yes, and we have 4 seaports. And this maritime economy is not thriving in Delta State.
Okay.
The question is, why is it not thriving? Why are vessels not belting in Delta State? Why? Because we're supposed to be expanding the ports to accommodate more inflow of vessels. There was a time we took statistics of vessels that bet in Lagos.
Okay.
Monthly, there are over 5,000 vessels.
Wow.
That bet in Lagos alone. Some are waiting for their cargoes to be discharged. And they spend 1, 2, 3 weeks for this to be done. While we have the Delta ports moribund, not functioning optimally. So the question is, because in this Delta State Economic Summit, one of the conversations that was raised by the WTO DG, our own, was that we should look into the logistics and the maritime economy, how we can improve on it.
Okay.
So, whether the Delta State government is not playing the right politics, or is it at the federal level that we're being short-charged? These are areas we should look into, partnering with the federal government to see how our seaports can come back to life. And so that vessels can be coming, because when vessels start coming into the Delta waterways, it will improve our economy. It will create direct and indirect jobs. That is on the side of. And then you find out that, Mike, when vessels are coming, the economy in these houses, south, into the southeast, will open up. Because most of the importers and importers, particularly, are from the southeast. So therefore, we must ensure that the corridor between Delta, Anambra, Delta, Abia are functioning. Let us come together, our partners, because the Anambra State government, Abia State government, we must partner for progress. Progress in the sense that from between Warri and Onitsha is a direct route. It's a one corridor. We have to ensure that the road is safe, which is security. We have to ensure that touting is not on the corridor. So it encourages investors to bring their vessels, quickly ship their goods to Anambra State or our neighboring Abia states. This will greatly improve our economy. Mike, then when we come to the agro that you talked about, you see, we have vast farmlands. Somebody was asked that you drive from Mugele to Kwale through Isoko, you see vast lands empty. Nothing is happening.
Arable lands.
Arable lands. Mike, I was once in London, and do you know that Ghanaians, they export this banga, they can it and they export it. You buy a canned banga in Ghana and you prepare banga soup, which is one of our staples. So why don't we do same? So even cassava can be exported. Plantain, is it chips? You have so many things you get from plantain, amala, chips.
Process them into.
You can process them and do fine packaging and export granules. So a friend was telling me some time ago in Abuja that cocoa, we can do cocoa planting in Delta State. It can survive, it can thrive. That's the major source of export
and
income.
So you feel we're not really utilizing, or rather, Delta State is not really utilizing these opportunities.
Mike, if you listen to Professor,
cash in on cash crops.
If you listen to Professor Lumumbu,
yes,
one of our keynote speakers, he was asking a question: what are we tapping from our young brains? How is our academians contributing to the economic development of Delta State?
Yes.
Are we funding their research as a state, as a state policy? We must fund research. We must ask questions of how can we develop. These are two key areas we just mentioned. Like we issued a communique, my NGO, because we're in consecutive status with the UN. We issued a communique, 6 points on the economic summit, advising government on how to move the state economy forward. What is the 6-point agenda? So,
prior to this summit?
Why during the summit?
Okay.
3rd of our communique came out on the 3rd of August.
Yeah.
So why at the beginning of the summit?
Okay.
We advise government on 6 areas. Key among them is security.
Which he gave.
We have a trust fund.
Yes.
So we must key into it. We must look into that because security of life and property.
Yeah, it's always paramount.
It's paramount. Investors must have confidence that one, if I bring my money into that client, it will be safe.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the $100 million that was given as a kind of
the
de-risking factor. Fine, it's good for us to put that in place, but it shows that we are ready to do business.
Most certainly.
Yes, and the state government is ready to do business. So investors must have confidence that if I come, there's a risk fund.
Yeah.
But that is not the question. I was reading from one of our colleagues, Dr. Paul. I was reading him yesterday. He was saying Delta State must have a sovereign wealth fund.
Okay.
Bayelsa State, River State, they've taken off with that. So we must have savings, funds kept aside for the growth of our state. Mind you, one of our sons happened to be the aviation minister.
Yes, Festus
Keyamo. So, what stops Delta State from having their own Delta State Air? We have 2 viable airports, the Osubi Airport and the Asaba Airport. Improve the Osubi Airport. It's a very strong corridor. And you see...
That's even if we plan to having investors, they will always want to fly in and do their business.
The governor is opening that space.
With infrastructure
development, roads and all that. It's opening that corridor so that business can thrive.
Okay, now talking about business thriving, because this is another major question. Now, he highlighted 2 major areas he feels that Delta State or investors could take that push to ensure they reap in from the benefit. And like we talked about the blue economy and that of the agro-allied side of it. Now, but should they just narrow it down? Because the reason I'm asking these, another major contributor to any growth of any state is when you have that required solid minerals that you can tap in. If you look at it in the north now and in the middle belt, that seems to be a money spinner. And if you allow me, in Delta State as it stands, we have key deposits of, apart from petroleum, we have other mineral resources that many feel can also be tapped into for the greater benefit of the state. Yeah. For example, we have the lignite, which is brown coal. We'll have a large deposit of it right here in the state. We'll have limestone here. We'll have silica, which is glass, which we know that is being used. So if you look at it, we have a lot of other, we have clay here, we have iron ore, we have a whole lot of other deposits. So should that also not be an angle to take? Should that not also be an angle to make investors also want to key into these solid minerals to see how we can also broaden our investment base and also broaden those sectors that will be invested in heavily in Delta State?
Mike, thank you for raising this up. You see, we have always been talking Delta without oil.
Okay.
Thinking outside the box.
Yes.
How can we survive in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years or 50? Having a strategic priority, prioritizing what we need to focus on.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now, in the current world that we are,
yes,
you see, apart from oil, people are looking into other areas of investment. Minerals, the artificial intelligence, which is technology. So we must harness all this, put them together, and see how our state can thrive.
Okay.
Talking about clay, glass, and coal, all that.
Yeah, brown coal.
These are revenue yielding natural resources that we have.
Most certainly.
So we must come to the drawing board after this summit. How do we create jobs for our teaming graduates that are shunning out of our universities? That's states have so many high institutions. How many of these graduates that are shunning out of these institutions are we thinking out how we can provide jobs for them? Okay. So when we look into these sectors, these other mineral deposits that we have in our state, we encourage investors to come in and invest in our state, but we must assure them of security.
Okay, now still talking about assuring them, because that's where this discussion is now. Yeah. Just like what I said in my introduction, it's not all about coming to give beautiful speeches.
No, I'm against that.
I'm
against beautiful speeches.
Yeah, it's not all about coming to give beautiful speeches. Making this into reality will definitely be. Now, as it stands, Delta State has a population of 5.1 to 5.6 million persons, residents in the state.
Yeah.
And with our latest, or rather the latest unemployment rate in Delta State is put about 8.2%. And we're talking about, which is also, funny enough, one of the highest, especially in the Niger Delta region. And I do understand that this summit is geared towards changing that narrative into having more persons being employed with the belief that these investors will come. Now, we've done the talk. We've done the summit. How can this come into reality? Because it's not all about inviting well-known persons to come around, but actually giving the breakdown of how this can materialize. So, in your own honest assessment, how can Delta State now put this beautiful summit into work, into actionable plan, into having it well being put round, and indeed ensure that definitely it will work? So we're not talking about, well, we had a summit in 2026 and we're only getting the reality when it comes to 2028 or 2029. How can we make this thing work now?
Coming by our communique that was issued.
Yes.
Mike, we said at this summit, we should leave just issuing communiques.
Okay.
To sign of MOUs.
Okay.
Putting this into action. One, I will, like I suggested, the summit will have had CAC.
Okay.
And some of these are our agencies that approving agencies for certifications of doing business in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They would have been part of the
summit.
CHs must be there. The ease of doing business team must be in Delta. I saw Afrexim banks and some of the banks on ground.
The former CEO of UBA was there.
Yes.
Yeah, on the mind he has transferred power. He's there. So Melu was there. And a whole other persons were also part of it. Premium Bank, the chief executive was there also.
It's not fine. Everybody is there. But what is the will to do business?
So we feel MOUs should also naturally take place.
We must start
side by side the economy.
By side by side the summit, we must start doing business immediately. We must gain from the summit. Leave the jamboree pictures and all that. No. Action. Then we have a Delta daughter at the WTO.
Which is again
for us. So we must key in
and see
partner with the WTO and see how we can lift our economy. Mike, I recall some years ago, Warri, the name Delta Warri was in the world map for business. Companies were thriving, businesses were thriving in this environment. So the question is, let's come back to the drawing board. I would say, after this economic summit, let's convoke an engineering summit.
So do you feel a committee would have even been set up to help see how they can iron all of these
make laws
edges and see how they can
harness all this and see what will come out of
actionable action.
Actionable action, rather. You understand? So, you see, a committee should be set up. We look at where our laws are defective.
Okay, that can hamper
businesses in Delta State. Take them to the House, send them to the House of Assembly. Let's pass laws that can improve businesses. The Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Yes.
We must pass a law on how it can be managed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, these things, when I say, okay, let's come to the drawing table. Let's pass laws, encourage businesses to thrive, sign MOUs, and let them kick off immediately. The $100 million not to be kept in any, or make it's just a mere pronouncement, or kept in one coffers.
One bank.
That's not being used.
Yielding interest.
That be yielding interest. Put it into action. Then, Mike, the state government, like I was trying to bring out something for you.
Yeah.
Interrupt me. Say, we must convoke an engineering summit. Vis-a-vis other business interests.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, how can we have a Delta Steel.
Yes.
That is moribund.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
How can we revive this Delta Steel? Partnering with the federal government.
Yeah.
There is a rail line, Itakpe,
Ujewu corridor.
Mike, you see, anywhere the rail passes through, it creates wealth. You understand? Because people plying that route, they will stay in local hotels, they will buy food in the environment on the rail route. You understand what I'm saying? And then it makes transportation of heavy goods easy. Cements from Ukbila and the Bois factory can be easily transported via the rail lines to Delta State, from Edo State to Delta State. Then, lobby the federal government. There's a reason to take the train line from Itakpe to Abuja to make transportation easy. Then, like I have been conversing, those that vandalize our infrastructures that have been put in place, we make laws, punitive laws. They don't have any reason to stay among us. They should be in prison. You cannot vandalize our rail lines. And you understand? And say, in some communities these days, you see, they don't allow these boys that do iron condemn to enter into their communities. Because most of these people are both vandalizing our rail line and our government infrastructures that have been put in place or have spent so much money to put in place. Then, Mike, there is a maintenance culture. Aside putting the roads and hospitals or whatever infrastructure in place, what is the maintenance culture strategy to ensure that these infrastructures are properly taken care of? From time to time, a road, if you have a little crack in a road, there should be an agency saddled with them to ensure that it is done timely.
Okay, well, anyway, I feel we're in the right direction as it concerns this discourse. Well, in case you're joining us, indeed, is a viewpoint and dialogue it is. We're looking at the Delta State Economic Summit, and all that will definitely make it come into reality. You do understand that the Delta State government is thinking towards a line of changing the state well, the former narrative of being a civil service state to that of more of an industrial hub. How can that happen, especially having to organize that summit, and what gains will definitely be from that very summit? All of that is what we're still having as a major discourse today on the show. Well, anyway, in case you're joining us, we still have no other person but Mr. Austin Uwuseba JP, who's economist and also a scientific, political scientist rather, helping us to really understand all that would need to be as it concerns making Delta State really a hub when it comes to industrialization. But anyway, one major talk again that many Deltans, or rather Nigerians, will be looking at, and if in case this state wants to really project itself as being an industrial hub, is the issue of power. We can never take that away from our discussion. And as it stands now, in Delta State alone, we can generate up to 1,000 to 3,000 megawatt of electricity because we have major plants in Opia, Ugeli, and Sapele. But the issue about it is that it is only about 200 to 300 megawatts of electricity that is being used locally, and making the vast number really not being used. No. So my next question is, how really important, if this investment, or rather this summit wants to eat that food, that the right things should be put in place? Yes, we do know that there's this push for Delta State to also generate its own electricity. We know the Delta State government has put everything into plan, especially when they did so in February of this year. But how can we also actualize that to ensure that when you have companies here in Delta State, they will not go through the normal problem of actually generating their own power or having less power being given them from the national grid? So how can all of that be really put in place to ensure that we get in on this summit?
Let me use the word of one of our politicians. You see, not be show. Mike, it's action.
Okay.
You understand? So
yeah,
we must leave talking, communicate, writing of papers to actionable projects.
Okay.
Business that we need to survive.
Okay.
You understand? You see, according to, let me quote the professor.
Yes.
Lumumba yesterday.
Yes.
He said, Nigeria as a country, we generate 5,000 watts. 5,000 watts of electricity. Megawatt of electricity. China, as a country, they produce 3 million megawatts.
Totally far cry of where we should be.
Where we should be.
In case you want to industrialize.
If you want to industrialize, you must generate power.
Yes.
Mike, you see, I'm a student of history. Let's go back to history. When China wanted to industrialize, they shut themselves to the world.
Yeah.
It was then called the Iron Curtain. No information out of China, no importing, no exporting. They were inside, within themselves.
Yeah.
Mike, Professor Soludo said something. If you want to grow our economy, for God's sake, patronize Nigeria, buy Nigeria. You cannot be wearing a foreign suit to an economy that you are saying you want to develop. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We cannot be wearing a goosey shoe or carrying a goosey bag or Tom Finger shirt, and you want to develop our local economy. And to make finger, all these companies are not producing in Nigeria. China compelled them to come to China to produce. For them to buy your Tom Finger, you must produce in China. We'll give you cheap labor.
Yeah.
So,
and enough power.
So energy is one thing Delta State must take as a priority. We have gas, we have coal, we have water. All these are power generating natural resources that God has given us. Harness them. And funny enough, the federal government has also legislated, the states can legislate and generate power.
Generate power, yeah. No more on the concurrent. Exclusive.
Exclusive list, rather. You understand?
Now, yeah.
So now it is a gain for us. Look into this area. There's a lot on the table of the president governor, but it's in the right direction. You understand? It must open up the economy. We must shut our doors to certain buy from here, buy from. No. Produce Nigeria, buy Nigeria.
I feel Nigeria.
You see, Soludo, like I'm an advocate. It might sounds local, but you see, I don't believe in traveling abroad to go and to be a second-class citizen in another country. We can do it here. We have also motors in Anambra State. Let us buy the vehicles. Leave Toyota, leave Mitsubishi, name them. Buy from the local one, starting from the presidency. Mike, I don't see any reason why the president should be driving a foreign-made car. But look, in India, they drive their own Tata.
Yeah,
I've been there, I've seen it. They drive Tata. They drive their own vehicles. So, you see, if the other vehicle producing companies want to compete, want you to buy their product, you come and open your assembly plant in the country that you want to sell your products.
Especially when we have that vast resources, especially as it concerns.
Gentlemen, if you are Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, you are Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, South Korea ambassador to Nigeria, come and bring your plants to Nigeria and produce in Nigeria and employ our people.
Well, I'll play with you to hold on. We need to quickly go on the break now.
Okay.
But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the Delta State Economic Summit and all that needs to be to ensure that we do not just have just a single summit, but actually having it on ground to ensure that the development and industrial drive of this administration is coming into reality. We need to go on a break now.
Atlantic TV. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
welcome you back, and we're still with dialogue today. We're looking at the Delta State Economic Summit and how we can indeed help to industrialize the big heart and make it truly an industrial hub, rather than having that sad narrative of being a civil service state that has always been, or rather the state being called in the last couple of decades. But anyway, that's why these very administrations seem to have been thinking towards making Delta State more of an industrial hub. And how can that be actualized? All of that is what we're still looking at here on Dialogue today. Well, anyway, you do know we not just only enjoy talking, I will also truly appreciate your comments, contribution, and reactions to follow, because with that, we'll definitely be helping to guide and see how our discussion will be really one of a realistic front, especially as we discuss all about the concerns, not just only making Delta State more of an industrial hub, but one that will be seen as one of the biggest and the pride of the nation. But anyway, still right here with us in the studio, we still have no other person but Mr. Austin Uwuseba JP, helping us to really look at it and see how we can really change the narrative of this great state. Now, let's now come to another very, or rather a talking point as it concerns this discussion. Before we went on the break, you talked about us actually loving to really love to be ourselves, buy ourselves, and patronize ourselves to make us grow. Now, Dr. Lumumba yesterday had a very beautiful one to talk or say. He talked about the issue of, rather than looking for outside investors, we should rather make Africans take the lead in investment. That's what he said. And he talked about bringing that development, indeed helping to motivate financially and otherwise our African brothers right here on the continent to take the lead in investment rather than seeking foreign investors. Now, let's look at that, because that's where it should be, rather than going and seeking or begging. Let me make it even more plain. Begging white investors, or sorry, forgive my language, Western investors to come. How can we also make our own take the lead in investment? Yes, we have one of the richest and biggest African investors from this plot. I'm talking about no other person but Aliko Dangote. We still have a lot of them. But how can we also make these African investors want to invest here, especially in Delta State, looking at the issue of our laws, looking at the issue of double taxation, looking at even the issue that's so plaguing us as a people, undermining a law has been put in place since 2021. And we're talking about the issue of DEVE, or we call it development levy as it's being called. How can we eliminate all of that and make more Africans invest in the big heart and bring about that industrialization that this administration is craving for?
Mike, it has to start with trust. We have a trust issue.
Trust, you say?
Trust. And then it also has to do with the colonization psychology.
Well, a huge one.
Do you understand?
We're still being plagued with it?
We're still plagued with it. The colonization psychology. We want to be like Oyibo man.
Well, anyway.
You understand? We want to live like them. We want to go to London. We want to go to America. We see how people strive. They pay so much money. They want to travel abroad. They want to go and see and take pictures and do manual jobs that you refuse to do here. So we don't even trust ourselves. So you see, Mike, for you, you must first and foremost believe in the Nigerian project. Believe in your country. Be patriotic enough to serve as a Nigerian in whatever capacity you find yourself.
Yes.
So Professor Lumumba is a Pan-Africanist.
Yeah.
Lobbying, and no. I'm telling you here, Mike, a European country or a Western country will not do it for you. We must be seen to do it ourselves. We must lead the process of development.
Take the bull by the horn.
Take the bull by the horn. We must be sure of what we want. We must lead by example. Mike, Dubai, when you go to most of the Middle East countries, they believe self-development. Let's make our place hospitable.
Okay.
Let's make our place habitable.
Okay.
Let's make our place livable. So, you see, today, Dubai is not dealing mostly on oil. They earn so much from tourism because everybody wants to go there. They want to see the beautiful hotels. They want to see the tallest buildings.
Sceneries,
We can replicate same year, Mike.
In Delta State.
In Delta State.
The big house.
There's no magic about it. It's self-belief. You understand? Then we as Nigerians, Mike, you see, one, I tell most people, if we don't believe that our economy can grow, there's nobody that will do it for us. As Deltans, you see, in Nigeria, the banks will give certain people loan to do business. They find every means not to repay. It erodes trust. That's why I first started with trust issue. Because you have ideas, you need funds. Banks ought to fund
such ideas.
You understand? But the bank will not say, they know that most Nigerians, we have a habit of not paying back, of circumventing the process.
And
shortchanging this process. Government give you a facility to do business as a small-scale industry. You not see it as part of your national cake. You don't want to pay back. You don't want to work. You just keep the money in your pocket and start living large and marrying wives. And you understand what I'm saying? Most people, when you give them empowerment tools, Mike, I'm telling you practical example, they sell it. Government have spent so much money in procuring empowerment materials. And our young girls, young boys are called to be empowered and given these materials. Mike, rather than use them for productivity, these people sell the materials. You just see people from the Onisha branch and all this number. They are there. Even they are coming out from where they were giving the materials, they are selling exchange for cash, which will take you nowhere. We can help young boys making shoes, palm sandals, sewing. And today you see that we have very wealthy, what do you call them, clothiers or our local brand tailors. We have some of them that have made so much money from producing our local fabrics, designing clothes. So, I'm the opinion. If I'm going to London and the government is helping to improve funding all these small-scale industries, Mike will be thinking out of the box. I'm going to London. What will I do in London? If I go to London, I will meet code. I need, we start producing African wares that we can wear for winter.
For Western, climates.
For Western climates. We don't need to go to... So, with your local, what do you call it, senator, all these clothes we make here in Nigeria now, we now add it in such a way that, fashion in such a way that it can hold the weather that you are traveling to.
But still make you African.
And still make it African. I don't need to go and wear a sweatshirt that is foreign made. We design our African attire.
Okay.
You see, you heard Anambra State Governor, Professor Soludo. He said he has been wearing kente for years. I think kente
and the WTO chairperson
is an export of the African culture.
And her attire has not changed.
She has not changed her attires. I love her so much. She's an export of the African culture. Yes, sir. So, Mike, we must start patronizing. You see, there's a slogan in India: buy India, use India,
and be India.
And be India.
Now, I really want us, because of time, let's look at continuity, because that's where our problem lies. Presently now, the gross domestic product of Delta State is put about 16.97 trillion, which makes it the 5th largest in the country at the moment when it comes to the economy of the state. Now, my only problem is we've always had a problem of continuity. Lagos State will pride itself of having a plan that has run through almost 3 or 4 administrations. Delta State, we've been having it back and forth. How can we make this a sustainable plan that even after this administration leaves office, the feeling of pushing Delta into an industrial hub, an industrial state will still be maintained? Yes, the elections are coming pretty soon. In the next 7 months' time, we're having an election. Well, many will say the incumbents might likely clinch it. I'm not be speaking for them. But if it doesn't happen that way, how can we make this plan a sustainable one that can run through the whole circle to make us achieve, irrespective of who leads the state forward? So how can we make this something that will run from one administration to another to make it into
that is why
a reality at the end of the day?
While in this conversation, I've said strategic priority. It can be 10, it can be 20, 50 years strategic priority.
Plan.
Listen, so what will make this plan? It enables us to draw a Delta State master plan.
Okay.
That includes opening our maritime sector.
Okay.
Build railway connectivity for the state that can transport goods from one place to another.
Yeah.
Delta State Rail, not the federal.
Yes.
Railway connectivity.
Yeah.
Local transportation and all that. It will make transport cheap.
Yeah.
Then security challenge. You mentioned there's a law that laws it anyway.
Yeah, in 2021.
But it's not enforceable. It's not enforceable, mind you, because people are still confronted with those challenges. I understand.
When they want to be
by our so-called community leaders. But this is because they don't have jobs. If we engage our local boys, our youths, they will not go to the farms and be looking for who is building and collect money from. Mike, you see, sometimes I use some foreign countries as an example. Let us come to China. In Nigeria, we have particularly, let's just use our Delta State.
Yeah, I'll prefer that.
Then let's come to the medical sector. Mike, we have our local herbs that cure fever. We have our local herbs that cure malaria, that cure so many ailments. Yeah. Now, you see, most times we depend on foreign scientists to certify our drugs, our medicine, locally produced drugs. But in recent times, you find out that we are not properly refining drugs that can pass scientific tests.
Okay.
So why don't we, as a state, harness
all of this?
Bring the whether you want a NAFDAC certification or whatever, the state will help our local drug manufacturers. The local drug manufacturers ensure that they have access to scientific tools. They can do research. The Nigerian Pharmaceutical Society. Gentlemen, come. How can we refine drugs that can be used for our peculiar cases, that address our peculiar cases? Mike, we have several roots that cure different ailments. In Nigeria, we have roots that can serve as Viagra
for men.
Why don't we convert this to productive use and export? The only thing is labeling, scientific proof, certifications, and we can export. These are huge revenue-yielding opportunities that we just keep on the corner.
And make our old men enjoy them.
Make our old men enjoy
them. I wanted us to make light of it.
When you get to most of our homes, you understand? Before you will say anything, they will bring out roots. This one cures this. This one cures that. My
But it
question.
can also cure hunger.
It can,
For us.
it can cure hunger for us when we turn
Investment.
into an investment opportunity. You understand? So my question is, why can't we refine these drugs, package properly, and use for economic growth? China does it, Mike.
Yeah, I do know.
That's why I mentioned China.
I've seen a drink like that.
Yes,
with truth in it.
With truth in it. Yeah. They export it.
From China.
So let's come back home. Let's ensure that our people are properly financed to do the best, to come out with the best.
Okay.
And we can succeed as a country.
Well, anyway, that's source. We making sources as it concerns trying to industrialize the state is what this main discussion is all about. But sad enough, we've come to the end of it because of time.
Yeah.
I would really want to say a big thank you to no other person but Mr. Austin Uwuseba JP.
Thank you,
for coming on a very short notice. But we needed to talk about the economic summit and how we can also make it more impactful as it concerns the gains and actually the dreams being envisaged by this administration of His Excellency Sheriff Oborevwori in making Delta State now change from a narrative of a civil service state to that of an industrial hub. All of that is what we looked at critically on the show today. We really want to say a big thank you to you, sir, for taking your time and doing this with us. We really want to say we're really appreciative of it. And I just hope
thank you, Michael, for having me.
That the needed advice and foresight will really be implemented and seen by this administration.
So, going forward,
yes,
you must be patronizing our African.
Well, anyway, I know you're.
So come on,
don't worry. I'll try and see how put a bada and tie to follow.
No, but that doesn't go with tie, but you are African.
Don't worry, I'll try and look.
So your money will not be going to the foreign coffers.
Okay, don't worry. Let me go on my suit for now. But all the same, thank you so much.
Thank you for
being a part of it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, for us, like I always insist, it will never need to end here. Let's get your reactions as our discussion is concerned. We're talking about indeed changing the narrative of having Delta State more of a civil service into that of an industrial hub. How can that be done and how can it be actualized? All of that would truly be appreciated if you can send them to our different social media platforms. And I would love to get a reactions as it concerns it.